Hey guys, so before even reading this chapter, I noticed a comment on a YouTube poll saying All for One is playing the most elaborate game of chess. And after reading the chapter itself, I can see what that person is talking about, because right from the jump, the chapter has Nagant pretty much give Izuku and the others All for One's location, only to find it abandoned with All for One just greeting everyone through like a holo disc. And here's the thing. This is one of those things that should This is one of those things that should really frustrate me, because in situations like this where the villain continues to outsmart the heroes, it's one of those things where it runs the risk of repetition and just repeating the same cycle over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But in this case, it this is one of those times where it pretty much the chapter kind of avoids that problem, because I know exactly what All for One is doing. He's putting Izuku through the ultimate test, but by pretty much controlling the journey, by controlling Izuku's journey in trying to find him. He's taking every opportunity along Izuku's path to find him to emotionally twist our young hero and push his limits, push Izuku beyond his limits, for the very simple purpose of seeing what kind of person Izuku will become, and what he'll come out as at the end of this journey. Like, it's the thing where he's what all everyone is doing is he's basically wondering, will at the end of this journey, at the end of the tunnel Izuku's journeying down, will he inevitably give into his own darkness, or will he become a shining beacon of hope for the world? The shining beacon of hope for the world. Which one of these two will he become, or will he become either of them? And the even more ironic part is that even though All for One had said he's much more interested in Izuku now than he is in All Might. Like, he even said himself, the entire time he was locked up, he was always thinking about Izuku. The irony of that statement is he's still in a lot of ways employing the very same tactics of breaking Izuku down that he was using against All Might, except in this case it's pretty much to a lot more of an advanced degree. Just the whole idea of trying to show the fallacy of heroism, and that heroes are only as and that heroes are no different than the villains they fight. That kind of a thing, and that society's like restrictive rules and regulations controls just who becomes what. All that stuff. It's basically all that, but pretty much on steroids. Like, he's pushing Izuku to either become like All Might or become like him. And in some ways it's kind of, it really makes you wonder just what's going to happen with Izuku. Like, is he really going to become like, either one of them? Is he going to become like another All Might, or is he going to become something else entirely? That's kind of the big question, I think, with this. And yeah, let's talk about the moment between Izuku and Chisaki, because that confrontation, the way that whole conversation was written, that was the absolute pitch perfect way for Izuku to handle that confrontation. Because it not only forced Chisaki to start the way he talked to Chisaki, the way he laid out his terms, it not only forced Chisaki to start thinking more clearly, but by Izuku just laying out the terms and flat out saying, I'll take you to your boss, but only if you get on your damn hands and knees, beg for an apology from Eri first, and then I'll take you to see the old man. Like, it really put Chisaki on the spot. And I think even though it wasn't really explicitly said, it was in some ways shown to us that in that moment of Izuku just pretty much laying out the terms, saying, "Here's what you do first. You get down on your knees, kiss the ring, and say and beg for forgiveness from Eri, and then I'll take you to him." It was in that moment, I think, where you can almost see on Shizuki's face the realization that he's been so hell-bent by seeing the boss again that he never really stopped to think how that confrontation would go if the boss had learned what happened to Eri. Like like in a lot of ways, I think Shizuki has this whole has this whole idea in his mind about how his reunion with the boss will play out, and but the only way that reunion will play out in the way he envisions it is if he flat out repents for his actions first in front of the very person or child he caused so much harm to. Then, and I think only then, can he face the boss in the way he wants to and with clarity. And even then, even when he faces the boss, I think that's going to be like its own little confrontation of self-reflection. But yeah, in either case, if you couldn't tell just from how I'm laying this out, I am loving this Path of Redemption Horikoshi has set Shizuki on right now, because no matter which direction it takes him in, it is going to force a lot of self-reflection on Shizuki, I think. And it's one of those things where in terms of Shizuki's character, in terms of who he is, it really is the film's only way in which to redeem him, I think. I don't think Izuku can do anything about it directly. It's up to what Shizuki does, I think, here that really matters. With that said, let's talk about Nagant's final scenes in the chapter, because I do like how her moment with Hawks did kind of fix the problem I had with her redemption last week, and by getting to see just her replacement in Hawks and what he became, and how much of a vastly different person he turned out. I like how her overall final conversation did give her like more peace of mind that not everyone who became a spy assassin for the Safety Commission all turned out exactly like her, and that there are those who are not only genuinely trying to change things, but also believe in it to their core, without all the bullshit, even with all the bullshit the Safety Commission was spewing. And I like how that is kind of ultimately what convinced her to help them in her final moments, is just seeing who Hawks had become. Like just seeing, like, Hawks in a lot of ways is Nagant's polar opposite when you look at it. Of course, on top of that, of getting All for One's location, we also learn from Nagant that he's also amassing his forces all over again. Which, yeah, I know I keep saying this over and over again, but it does feel like we are reaching that breaking point where one way or another, everyone else will be forced to get involved, whether Izuku likes it or not. I mean, we already know that Todoroki's involved in all this. We just haven't seen him yet, because he has taken it upon himself for his family in order to face his brother again. But yeah, for me right now, it's only a matter of time before pretty much everyone in Class 1A, Class 1B, just everyone under the sun who's every like school, every person under the sun is really going to start getting involved, because things are reaching that boiling point where All for One is about to declare a full-on war, and heroes are going to be needed in order to fight that war too. And actually, honestly, I'm really kind of curious as to where Stain is. Like, that's something that just popped in my head. Like, what exactly is Stain doing during all this? Because we pretty much saw him like one time, I think, when this arc began, but we haven't seen him since. Like, what is that guy doing right now? That's what I want to know. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst, Crunchyroll, and be sure to hit the bell for notifications and the notification bell. And yeah, just share this around, guys. Death Knight of me, signing off. Later.